students to this session where we are going to understand the various criterion for measuring development. Income is one of the most important attributes for comparing development of various countries. Countries with higher income are more developed than others with less income. Let's understand the various attributes or criterion of measuring or comparing development in the countries or states. Now, the development in the countries and states are measured according to the following attributes. The first is the total income or the national income. The second is average income or per capita income. The third is GNP, which stands for gross national product. The fourth is GDP, which stands for gross domestic product. Now, this topic of yours is given on page number 8 of your textbook. Now, let us begin with the understanding of these criterion. The first is the total income or the national income. So, the total income is the income earned by all the citizens living in a country. So, it is the sum of income earned by all the citizens living in a country. If NI is the national income, in order to find the national income, we are going to add up the income of all the citizens living in a country. If C1 is the first citizen, C2 is the second citizen, so wise we have Cn, or that is the income of the nth citizen. So in order to find the national income, we are going to add up the income of all the citizens living in a country. If the NI or the national income is high, we say that the country is developed. But it does not facilitate in the comparison of development between the countries, as countries always have different population. So in order to compare the development between the countries, we have the next criteria as the per capita income or the average income. So per capita income, it is the total income of a country divided by its total population. So if AI is the average income, so in order to find out the average or the per capita income of a country, we are going to add up the income of all the citizens and then we are going to divide it by the total population of the nation. So AI is equals to C1 plus C2 to Cn, and then we are going to divide it by n, where n represents the population of a country. The third criteria is the gross domestic product. So it is the sum total of all the goods and services produced in a country in 1 year. GNP stands for gross national product. So it is an estimate of the total value of all the final goods and services produced by its nationals in 1 year. It takes into account net income from abroad. So what is net income? So net income stands for the income earned by its citizens of a nation who lives outside the political boundaries of a country. So, for comparing countries, their income is considered to be one of the most important attributes. So, how has the World Development Report classified countries? So, let us find an answer to this question. So, the World Bank classifies countries according to the per capita income. The countries with per capita income of more than US dollar 12,616 per annum are called rich countries. The countries with per capita income less than US dollar 1,035 are called poor countries. Countries with income between US dollar 1,530 per annum are called as low middle income countries. The limitations of this report, which is issued by World Bank, are it considers only income and not other aspects such as literacy, health, life expectancy, etc. Now, World Development Report only tells about income and not how it is distributed among the citizens. Now we have talked, as we have understood, that the average income is used by the World Bank in order to measure development, but the average or the per capita income has its own defects or drawbacks. So let us understand the drawbacks or the defects of the average income or the per capita income with the help of a table, which is table 1.2 given in your book on page number 9. So here we have in the table given two countries A and B. The monthly income of the citizens in 2007 in rupees in both the countries are given. Country A has 5 citizens where the first citizen earns rupees 9,500 rupees, the second earns rupees 10,500 rupees, the third earns rupees 9,800 rupees, the fourth earns rupees 10,000 and the fifth earns a sum of rupees 10,200 rupees. Now, in order to find out the average income or the per capita income of country A, we need to divide all the income of the 5 citizens and then divide it by 5. So, on doing it, we get the per capita income coming out to be rupees 10,000. Similarly, in order to find the per capita income of country B, we find out or we add up the income of all the 5 citizens, where the first citizen living in country B and the second and the third, even the fourth earns a sum of rupees 500, only the fifth earns a sum of rupees 48,000. So we add up all the income of the 5 citizens and divide it by 5. Again, the per capita income of country B comes out to be rupees 10,000. Now, in spite of the same average in both the countries, as nationals or citizens of a country, we would always like to live in country A because country A has more equitable distribution of income. In this country, people are neither very rich nor very poor. But in country B, there is unequal distribution of income. Most citizens in this country are poor and only one person is extremely rich. So, average income only facilitates in comparing development in the countries but does not tell us how this income is distributed among the people. Now, let's sum up the drawbacks or the defects of the per capita income. The first defect of it is that it hides disparities or it hides differences. Second, it does not tell us how the income is distributed or it gives rise to unequal distribution of income. Third, it promotes class differences as the rich continue to be richer and the poor continue to be poorer. So, related to the understanding of this topic, here is an assignment for you students. So, I have selected two questions from this topic, and the answers to these questions will be discussed in the next session, where we are going to understand that there are other criterion apart from income that is used by UNDP, that is United Nations Development Program, in order to measure development of the countries. So, let us read the two questions that are given as assignment to you. The first question is, why do you think average income is an important criterion for measuring development? The second is, what should India do or achieve to become a developed country? So, for the time being, it's goodbye and thank you.